First, congratulations. I want you to be able to hear this. Good for you guys. I'm new here, but you're the political director here, and NewsNation called the House, what, almost 24 hours before anybody else, and got it right. Good for you.
Well, I did nothing but observe gladly as the gang from Decision Desk HQ and our team here said what was obvious, should have been obvious to everybody, certainly, but it took everybody else another day, or not even everybody else, but it took most people another day to do it. And I think part of it is fine in the sense that people are being cautious, which is fine to be cautious. But the other thing is, you know, when it's keeping the drama alive and you're keeping Democrats hanging on the edge of their seats like, oh my gosh, maybe we'll control the House too, you got to put these people out of their misery and tell them it's over.
And look, just let them know the state of play. But there's just so much invested in the game. But this is a great point that we talked about on election night. Again, it was a pleasure to be with you. Independents are the fastest growing part of the electorate. They're hard to sample in polls. Obviously, their preferences were missed a little bit here, and they made a difference in big races. I put up some of the races for people as you explained why that was. Fetterman winning independents, Kelly, DeSantis won independents, which is important in Florida because it's a statement of what they wanted him to be about. What do you see in that?
I see that the people who are persuadable, voters who are persuadable, are less ideological and less partisan. I know that sounds like a duh point, but it's the fact, right? They are not as hidebound when it comes to the issues. They're more willing to make compromise. They're more willing to accommodate people who they disagree with. Something I tell politicians all the time, but very few manage to understand it. Americans will vote for very liberal people. They'll vote for very conservative people, but they're always voting for people. They're voting for a person who they have confidence in. And if you look across the country, what you saw was that in places where governors, senators, and holders of major offices were deemed to be competent and good at their work, voters rewarded them. And where candidates were thought to be weird or not up to the job or whatever else, that they paid a price. And that's a good thing. Partisanship can be fine, but when it clouds your judgment to such a degree that you're not able to make an obvious, when it is on those rare occasions that it's obvious, you know something's wrong there, and that's why we count on independent voters to break the tie.
Now, do you think that this has hit the two parties and the insiders the way it hit us as recognition, or do you think the attraction and the lust for the game can blind you sometimes?
Well, the Democrats certainly seemed to have taken the lesson of we don't have to change anything and we can just keep doing exactly what we're doing, which is not what the voters were saying. That is clearly not what the voters were saying. The Republicans are going through yet again, another round of infighting. I have never seen such bad behavior in a party. And this is now going back to 2012 or before, where they're just at each other's throats constantly. And it stops being about the issues, and it's just about personality, and it's about which faction gets to control this and that. And it's really ugly. It's really counterproductive. And it tells me that Republicans aren't yet ready to listen to what those independent voters were saying last week. And what they said last week was, do a good job, we'll reward you. They're still locked in this very weird space.
So the man who set the tone was back last night. I didn't like the timing for him. If I were one of the people around him, I'm sure you heard the same thing I did. People were trying to tell him to wait, but he said he'd look weak because he said he was going to do it. So now here we are. It's very interesting that in one way, he seemed to be getting judged by a standard he created, which is, how exciting was his speech and how did it rate? I mean, that's always what he has talked about. And he didn't do great by his own metrics.
No, and, you know, Donald Trump is in a very different place than he was in 2015. As the philosopher said, the same man cannot cross the same river twice. The river has changed and the man has changed. And Trump is a different person, and the electorate is in a different place. When he was running in 2015, he was the madman, right? He was the Ted Nugent of electoral politics. He could say anything, do anything, didn't care, re-impeach George Bush, steal the oil from Iraq. I was before I was against it. Change anything, do anything the whole time, and it was remarkable to watch. And this time, though, is different. He's got priors. The Republicans have had 3 bad consecutive election cycles, right? 2018, 2020, 2022. you can allocate the blame for that in a lot of different ways, but Trump's at the center of it.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.